friends. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. I'm Reverend Jody Hill Stevenson, the senior minister here, and I'm so glad that you've joined us here at the Mystic Moment Sunday morning service. It's anytime we can all be together, it's such a joy. And I love doing this for you all because I love wisdom and I love ancient wisdom and I love the Eastern mind. The theme for September, and this is the first Sunday in September, the theme is harmony, and it's one of my most favorite qualities of God, which is why I chose it, because September is one of my favorite months because it's the entryway into fall. It's the letting go of the summer and we're moving into fall. So I've always loved this time of year. Harmony, it's often used to connote or to try to define in the world of music the harmony between two different notes or a whole bunch of notes. And it's also used in the art world for harmonizing colors. But the question is, what is harmony to you? What does it mean to you? For me, it's a sense of congruence. It's a sense of honoring, knowing that everything has the opposite. Everything has, for every yang, there is a yin. For every winter, there's a summer. For every fall, there's a spring. For every night, there's a day. For everything that happens, we live in harmony with ourselves and with nature and with each other when we are coming from a sense of authentic congruency. Let's talk about what does that mean. Lao Tzu, the great Taoist master who brought the Tao Te Ching to the world, thank God, 2,500 years now later, Taoism is really seeping into everyday living. So many people are starting to study the Tao. I cannot recommend it enough. Lao Tzu writes, in harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. So where do we begin with all of that? It sounds great, but where do we begin with that? Well, here's what we want to do. According to Gunilla Norris, who wrote Sharing Silence, Meditative Practice, and Mindful Living, he writes, we each possess a deeper level of being. So the place to begin is within us, to that place inside of us that is unscathed and unruffled and untriggered by the human drama, because we know that the human drama is just a story, really. And I mean, some of them are pretty big stories, but really, when we know that within us, no matter what's going on in the outer world, there's a place of calm within us, we can step in there anytime and start observing life instead of getting hooked in. He goes on to say, I'll start over. We each possess a deeper level of being, which loves paradox. It knows that summer is already growing like a seed in the depth of winter. It knows that the moment we are born, we begin to die. It knows that all of life shimmers, its shades of becoming, that shadow and light are always together, the visible mingled with the invisible. I think where we get out of harmony with ourselves and with all around us is when we start to think that the outer world is real. You go, oh, come on, Jody, it is real. I can touch it. But it's not real. And when we can fully step behind that, we begin to live in harmony and peace and balance in our own lives. To understand our oneness, is to understand harmony, is to understand our completeness, is to understand our brokenness. Taoism has one goal, and the goal is helping people realize their oneness with the universe, and that means with each other. Nature functions in a state of harmony. It is the very nature of nature to function in harmony. The various plants and the various animals that form are all part of this unfolding dance from the divine. And the natural world is something that we want to hang in harmony with, to live in a state of interdependence and realize how important we all are to each other. An acorn tree, for example, derives its nourishment from the sun, the rainfall, and the soil. We all know that. The wild pig depends on the acorn for its food, and the droppings of the pig nourish the soil and provide the acorn tree and other plants all around it that are rooted in the soil. And expanding on that example, the leaf of the acorn tree derives its nourishment from the parent tree. And when its life ends in autumn, the leaf falls, decomposes, and fertilizes the soil for the parent tree to draw its nourishment. Everything in the universe, everything on planet Earth has a purpose and a need for all of us to turn inward and understand that we are all interdependent as we live in harmony with each other. No one can survive on their own. Some of you have heard me say this before, this example. I've given so many sermons on this, and for some reason, this little phrase just still irritates me. And the phrase is, no man is an island. I mean, songs have been written and poetry and preachers talk about it and on. And I'm like, that's not true. Every man, woman, and child, animal, tree, everything is an island. Yes, when you look at a set of islands, they look separate, but you take away the water and there's a connection underneath the water that is as solid as earth is solid. Every person, every animal, every living being is an island because underneath the surface, we are all interconnected. Hence, if we want to have more harmony in our lives, we listen to the Taoist who says we must respect nature. So what is it that's causing us to have earth challenges right now? I was talking to a counselor the other day, and she said she has so many clients who are young, like in their early 20s and early 30s, and they're really worried about the exploitation of planet Earth. On the other hand, I met with a 15-year-old not too long ago. She was a beautiful client of mine, and she said, my generation has this. We know you all screwed up, but we have this. Okay, I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry, but thank you. The ruthless exploitation of natural resources by modern man has been to support his lifestyle, and his economy. And this is what's taking us out of harmony with ourselves, with each other, and with nature. What is it that takes us out of harmony is our mind. Lao Tzu writes, when man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy, the earth becomes depleted, the equilibrium crumbles. He wrote this 2,500 years ago. Creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion because she understands the whole. His constant practice is humility. He doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao, as rugged and common as a stone. In harmony, we're not striving and seeking more. We are only being used by the Tao. And there's such a joyful, delicious relaxation into being when we can fully get this. So what keeps us from fully realizing the harmonizing truth, from experiencing our oneness with nature, is actually our rational mind. It's actually our rational mind. When we identify with the mind, which is certainly what the Western culture has done, we get ourselves into a lot of trouble. We need the rational mind, and what we need it for is to solve problems. But the problem with needing to solve problems is the rational mind is always looking for problems. If we were to just relax and live in the Tao and live in harmony with ourselves, we would not be exploiting the world. We would not be against each other. We would not be living out of harmony. We would be solving naturally any situation that feels out of harmony with itself. So, where in your life are you feeling out of harmony? And I would venture to guess that if you're a human being and you're listening to this, there is a place where if you straightened up this or you did that over there, you would feel more peaceful and more joyful, because that is the expression of harmony in your life. Where I'm experiencing that right now is, oh my gosh, the weeds in our patio home. Some of you have been to our home and blessed our home with your presence. Oh my gosh. So Tom and I, neither of us are yard people. I'm more of a pot person, pot as in flower pot person. But the fall is coming and I'm starting to travel. So my pots are going to go into more of a wintry kind of look. But the weeds, oh, they're flourishing in the little tiny bits of land that we have. So we were laughing about that the other day. It's time to harmonize that and do something different, which we're going to do. Where in your life are you out of harmony? What could you do to just take your feeling of being calm and peaceful and joyful to a place that is centered within you? Lao Tzu writes, great trouble comes from not knowing what is enough. When is enough enough? Great conflict arises from wanting too much. When we know when enough is enough, there will always be enough. So this week, what pile could you straighten up? What area in your yard could you make beautiful? What corner in your home could you do something just a little bit differently that would harmonize? Sometimes on my desk here, I have two lotuses, there's a beautiful crystal one, and I have a ceramic one, and I have a heart in the middle of them. And sometimes, and they're both sitting on a beautiful mirror plate. And sometimes I have to clean the plate so I can see everything, because sometimes it gets dusty. I have this beautiful elephant that my friend Kathy gave me, and I love, and she sits right here to remind me how incredible life is, because elephants know, they live in harmony with the source of their being. So I love my desk. Sometimes it gets cluttered and I have to clean it. Where in your home are you willing, or in your life, are you willing to create a different sense of harmony? Being in congruency with yourself. Knowing when enough is enough. This week, play with harmony and see what happens in the world. Have a great week. Oh, and please donate to the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley, this wonderful community. It's been around for 22 years. We're going on our 23rd year. They voted a few weeks ago to continue on, to forge forward, to create new programs, to create so much more. So please donate so that the Science of Mind community can continue. And please join us next week, the second Sunday in September. We have our live service at the Methodist Church in Lafayette, Colorado, at 4:00. Great music. We have a great speaker, and we have each other. So please join us and know how much I love you. Have a great week.